You sure you want to open this can of worms? That's what my buddy Mike asked me when I told him what I found in my wife's bag. And yeah, maybe I should have just left it alone. But screw that. I knew something was off. Let me back it up. Last week, it was a regular Tuesday. I came home from a long-ass shift at the hospital. I'm a pediatrician at a local clinic in Austin, and I found our 7-month-old screaming his lungs out. Melissa, my wife, was in the shower. I wasn't planning to snoop. Hell no. I just needed a damn diaper. I remembered she always tosses a couple in her bag when she takes the baby on her morning walks. So I grabbed it, right there next to the changing table. Opened it up, boom, 2 diapers inside. Great, crisis averted. But then, something hit the floor with that soft thud that makes your gut twist. You ever get that feeling like something's about to flip your world upside down? I looked down. Condoms, a half-open pack of 3, only 1 left. My heart straight up stopped. We don't use condoms. Haven't in years. She's breastfeeding. Cycle hasn't returned. Plus, marriage, monogamy, trust. All that good shit we thought we had. I stood there, baby still wailing on the table, and I swear, for a solid 5 seconds, I was frozen. Then I shoved the damn thing into my pocket and did what I had to do. Changed my kid, held him close, and waited for Melissa to get out of the shower. When she walked in, towel on her head, like everything was normal, I placed the baby in the crib and held the condom pack in my hand. Melissa, what the actual fuck is this? She blinked, confused for half a second, then she laughed. Oh, babe, that it's not mine. You probably put it there. I couldn't believe how quick the lie rolled off her tongue. No hesitation, no panic, just smooth, calm gaslighting. I found it in your bag, I said. But you pulled it out of your pocket, didn't you? She shot back, smirking. I swear to God, my blood pressure hit the roof. You're seriously going to pretend this isn't yours? She paused, then gave me a wink. Relax, I was joking. I bought them yesterday. Kyle and I went out, and some dude was flirting with her. They wanted to hook up, but didn't have protection, so I gave her 2. Right. Because that makes perfect sense. Just moms out here handing out condoms like Halloween candy while pushing a stroller around. I asked, you expect me to believe you lent condoms to Kyle, the married one with a baby? Oh shit. Did I say Kyle? I meant Tina. She said, waving it off. Pregnancy brain gets everything jumbled. That was the moment it clicked. She wasn't just lying. She was prepared to lie. Like this wasn't her first rodeo. Flashback. A year ago, before the baby, before all the cracks, things were decent. Not perfect, but decent. We met 4 years ago at a colleague's birthday bash. She was the fun one. Carefree. Wild, the opposite of me. I'm structured. She was spontaneous. Somehow, we clicked. I fell hard, fast. She had this way of making you feel like the only person in the room. We dated for a year, then tied the knot. Intimate wedding, low-key. She didn't want anything big said. She'd rather spend money on a trip than a dress. We backpacked through Italy after our vows. And honestly, that trip still lives in a golden part of my brain. But when she got pregnant last year, everything started to change. She panicked, said it wasn't the right time. She wanted to travel more, party more. She even considered termination. I begged her not to, told her we could figure it out. She eventually agreed to keep the baby. But something between us fractured. It was like I signed an invisible contract to owe her for having the child. I did everything I could to support her. Hired a nanny, cooked, cleaned, even arranged therapy for her postpartum. She started going out again when the baby was just 2 months old. I didn't question it. She needs her space. The therapist said, a happy mom makes a healthy baby, I kept telling myself. But happy moms don't come home at 2 a.m. reeking of tequila and half-truths. Back to now, the beginning of the spiral. That night. I didn't argue anymore. I told her I didn't believe a damn word she said. She cried, sobbed. Actually, said I didn't understand her. That I was accusing a new mom of cheating while she was already struggling with postpartum. That part stung. Because I do get it. Depression is real. Hormones suck. The body goes through hell and back. But when you start weaponizing your mental state to shut down accountability, that's not depression. That's manipulation. She retreated into herself. Wouldn't eat, sat curled in bed like a scene out of some indie movie about a girl lost in her own regrets. I felt bad for our son, his mom, just a shadow moving in and out of his world. I didn't try to comfort her. Not this time. I was done being the guy who apologizes when he's not the one screwing up. This morning, I played along. I told her I believed her story. Gave her a soft smile. Said I'd even reach out to Kyle or Tina or whoever the hell she said needed the condoms. Her shoulders relaxed. She actually looked relieved. And that's when I knew she thought she got away with it. So I waited. Then I stalked Kyle's Instagram, saw family photos, her and her husband, their kid, their happy little unit. And I realized if what Melissa said was true, that Kyle was out here hooking up with bar dudes, Kyle's husband had no idea. So I left a breadcrumb. Hey babe, I said over breakfast, I trust you now. If you say it was Kyle, I believe you. Does she do that often? Melissa lit up, started spinning stories, said Kyle was wild, reckless, always needing a wing woman. Talked too fast, smiled too wide. I sat there sipping my coffee, playing dumb. Then I dropped the hammer. Isn't Kyle married with a toddler? She froze. She froze, like someone had hit pause on her entire nervous system. Then boom, her mouth caught up with her panic. No, not like that. I meant Tina. I got mixed up again. Ugh. I keep doing this. My brain's fried. I gave her a look. Just one, no words. She added, Kyle's not like that. She's super committed. Great mom. I'd never put her in that position. Right. At this point, I was almost impressed. Melissa could lie like it was second nature, like breathing. But here's the thing, I'm not dumb. I just played dumb because I needed more. So I nodded. Got it. Must have been Tina. She exhaled, relieved, and went back to scrolling her phone like we hadn't just danced around an emotional landmine. Cool, game on. That night, while she snored beside me, I stayed up scrolling. Kyle's IG was locked down. But her husband, not the brightest tool in the Shed public account. Location tags, and oh boy, he loved posting about family first. Sweet Jesus. The next day, I created a burner account and messaged Kyle. Hey, you don't know me, but I think you should hear what your friend Melissa's been saying about you. It might affect your marriage. I attached the audio I'd secretly recorded Melissa casually joking about Kyle banging guys in bar bathrooms, while her husband was probably home reading bedtime stories. Brutal. Kyle read it, no response. But 20 minutes later, Melissa's phone rang. And that's when the chaos kicked off. She flew into the bedroom, eyes wide and glassy. Why would you message Kyle? I was lying on the bed, reading, calm as hell. You said I could ask her, didn't you? I just did. She looked like she wanted to throw something. Then she crumpled, full sobs, panic, whisper yelling. She's freaking out. She thinks I ruined her marriage. Her husband's asking questions. Oh, I said, like I hadn't planned that exact outcome. Must be scary, almost like being lied to by someone you trust. She lunged toward the bed, crying harder. I didn't cheat. Adam, I swear I was just covering for her. Nope, I wasn't buying that either. I got up, walked past her, and closed the bedroom door behind me. No yelling, no slamming, just cold silence. That silence, it hit her harder than anything I could have screamed. The next few days were awkward as hell. Melissa would try to make small talk. I ignored her. She cooked dinner. I fed our son instead. She sat on the couch scrolling TikTok like nothing happened. I went for walks, alone. But here's what she didn't know: I wasn't just being distant. I was collecting. I talked to our nanny, asked when Melissa was really gone. She hesitated at first, but then admitted Melissa would sometimes run errands for 5, 6 hours. Dressed for clubs, not Costco. She never took the baby along. And once, she came home at 3 a.m. saying she got caught up. I checked her Venmo, payment to someone named Jay with the caption, "Fun Night." Cute! Bank statement Uber, charges to addresses on the other side of the city, and one charge to a cheap-ass motel 2 towns over. Text logs deleted. Browser history scrubbed. Melissa wasn't just hiding. She was good at hiding, but not good enough. Then came the moment I'd been waiting for. Kyle messaged me from her real account. No more ignoring, no more denial. I need to talk to you. In person. Please don't send that recording to my husband. I'll explain everything. She came over the next day. I had the nanny take the baby out. I didn't want him around for what was about to go down. Melissa saw Kyle at the door and flipped. I told you I'd handle it. Why are you here? Kyle walked right past her. No, Melissa. You told them I was screwing around, so you wouldn't have to admit you were... Melissa looked like a cornered animal. Kyle wasn't even mad. She was disappointed, and that hit harder. I covered for you so many times, she said, voice low. Told you to stop. Told you to think about your kid. You said, and I quote, I gave him a kid. I deserve some fun. Melissa didn't deny it. She just collapsed. Tears, screaming, yelling about how nobody understood her, how motherhood ruined her, how she never wanted to feel tied down. And I sat there, across from both of them, quiet, just letting her drown in the mess she created. Later that night, I made it clear this wasn't over. This wasn't some sitcom fight we'd get past in 3 episodes. I told her, straight up, you brought strangers into our life, into our kids' world. You gaslit me, lied to my face. And now you want to cry victim. Screw that. She tried pulling the postpartum card again. I shut that down too. Postpartum doesn't buy you immunity from cheating, from lying, from being a shit partner and a worse mother. Her face hardened, like the mask finally cracked, and now the real her was looking back at me. So what? You're just gonna leave? No, I said, I'm going to take everything. The next morning, I called my lawyer. Told him the whole thing: infidelity, parental neglect, the baby often being left with caregivers while she went out partying, the financials, the risk, the instability. He said, we've got a case. I started collecting every receipt, every log, every nanny statement. We built a portfolio, a pattern, a lifestyle, proof that Melissa's priority wasn't parenting, it was escaping. And yeah, I know how that sounds, but this wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about my son. I wasn't going to let him grow up with someone who thinks being a mom is a punishment. 2 weeks later, Melissa tried to act normal again. She made breakfast, bought flowers, even left a handwritten card on my desk. Let's try again, for our son. I didn't even open it. I walked past her like a ghost, went straight to the kitchen, and said, pack your stuff. You've got 48 hours. She stood there like she didn't understand English. What? I'm filing full custody. You can fight me, but you'll lose. That's when she lost it. I'll take everything from you. I'll get the baby, the house, everything. I smiled, that cold, dead smile you give someone right before the blade drops. You want a house? Good luck getting one when you don't have a job, a lawyer, or anyone who will vouch for you. Ask Kyle how she feels about you now. She left that night. Didn't even wait the 48 hours. Just threw shit into bags and disappeared, couch surfing with whatever friends she hadn't alienated yet. Her social media turned private, her phone silent. Meanwhile, my lawyer filed. I set up a full-time nanny. My mom moved in to help. And our son happier, sleeping better. No more loud music at midnight. No more random men's cologne on his blanket. Just peace. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about reclaiming the kind of life she almost stole from us. 3 days after she left, my lawyer served her the official divorce and custody petition. She hadn't replied to a single message since storming out, but the moment that paperwork hit her inbox, my phone lit up. 11 missed calls, 6 voicemails, 20 texts. Adam, please, can we talk first? I didn't mean for it to get this far. You're really doing this without even letting me explain. This is cruel. You're punishing me. I'm still his mother. I didn't respond. Not to punish her. I had nothing left to say. For years, I'd been the one smoothing things over, calming her storms, apologizing just to keep the peace. This time, she burned the bridge and then acted shocked when she couldn't cross back over it. She came by unannounced that night. Hair messy, no makeup, hoodie and slippers, not the usual going-out version of Melissa, just her raw, tired, probably crashed on someone's couch the past few nights. She stood on the porch holding a crumpled teddy bear. I just want to see him, she whispered. I didn't open the screen door. He's sleeping, I said. I miss him. You should have thought about that before you turned this house into a revolving door of random guys and lies. Her eyes welled up, but I stayed stone cold. I wasn't gonna fall for it. Not again. Go home, Melissa, wherever that is now. She stood there for a second longer, then turned and walked off into the dark. I watched until she disappeared. The street was silent again. Next morning, I took my son to daycare and then met my lawyer in person. You did good, he said. Now we move fast. He explained we had leverage full-time nanny, clean home environment, job flexibility for parenting, receipts proving her absence, and enough statements to paint a very vivid picture of what Melissa had become: reckless, unstable, and entirely self-serving. She tried to stall, filed for temporary joint custody, then missed her own hearing because she overslept. She texted me later. Sorry, slept through my alarm. Can we reschedule? Lady, this is court, not brunch. But what really sealed the deal was her behavior in public. She showed up drunk to a birthday party hosted by one of the moms in our old social circle, slurred her words, started a fight with someone over a Spotify playlist, then got escorted out, and guess what? Someone filmed it. She didn't know that clip was making the rounds. I didn't even need to use it in court. Her behavior spoke for itself. Meanwhile, Kyle and her husband, they kept their distance. But Kyle did send me a message after the hearing. I'm glad your son has you. You're doing the right thing. That hit harder than I expected. For a moment, I felt like someone finally saw what I was trying to do, not just win the breakup, but actually build something stable for my kid. Be the parent I never had growing up. Melissa, though she tried everything to guilt me. You're ripping a baby from his mother. You're making me look like a monster. I gave birth to him. I deserve time with him. And every time, I thought deserve doesn't mean ****** when you've abandoned responsibility. She showed up one more time before the final hearing. Brought a folder of fake proof printouts of texts between us edited, messages from friends that didn't exist, and a typed letter claiming I was emotionally abusive. I saw it and actually laughed. Out loud. That's when she lost it in front of my lawyer. You think this is funny? I could ruin your reputation? You're not perfect, Adam. I never claimed to be. I said, but I'm not the one sneaking out to bars while our baby's teething. She tried to throw the papers at me, but they scattered all over the floor. Security walked her out. That moment felt like the closing act of a really long F*** ed-up play. No curtain call, no applause. Just trash on the ground and a woman who finally realized the audience had stopped watching. Court day came. I dressed clean, dark blazer, no tie, just solid. My mom was there. Our nanny testified. My lawyer laid out the timeline from Melissa's disappearance into nightlife, to the mental gymnastics, to her complete lack of financial contribution. Melissa showed up in a pantsuit that looked like she borrowed it from someone 2 sizes smaller, hair tied back, trying to look put together. She broke halfway through, started crying on the stand, talking about feeling trapped and not being ready, and how Adam never made her feel sexy anymore. Even the judge blinked at that one. My lawyer stood and said, Your Honor, respectfully, sexiness isn't a parenting metric. Verdict. Full legal and physical custody granted to me. Melissa allowed supervised visitation, twice a month, 0 overnight stays, mandatory drug screening if she ever wanted more. The moment we walked out of the courtroom, she looked at me like I'd stabbed her in the chest. Are you happy now? She hissed. I didn't even stop walking. I'm stable now, I said. That's what matters. A week later, she sent a final message. Can we start over? I miss us. I stared at it for a long time, not because I considered saying yes, but because I remembered the version of me who would have... The version who thought love meant compromise at all costs, who apologized when he didn't do anything wrong, who let himself be lied to because it was easier than facing the fallout. That guy, he's dead. I blocked her number. Took the baby out for ice cream, his first cone, got it all over his little face. He laughed. I laughed. And for the first time in what felt like forever, it was quiet, peaceful. No tension in my chest, no second guessing, just me and my boy. I didn't win, I just ended it. And honestly, that's the best outcome I could have asked for. 2 months after the court ruling, things finally started to feel normal again. We found a rhythm, me and my son. I'd wake him up, get him ready for daycare, drop him off before heading to the clinic. My mom stayed home during the day to handle emergencies, and I still had the nanny on rotation to cover late shifts. The house was quiet, calm. No yelling, no tension. I never realized how much I'd been operating in fight or flight until it stopped. It's weird peace doesn't come with a loud bang. It just creeps in like background music you forgot was playing. One day, you're sitting in your living room with a cup of coffee, and you suddenly notice you're not bracing for impact anymore. And yeah, I missed having a partner sometimes. But Melissa, no, I didn't miss the chaos, the manipulation, the fake apologies. Honestly, I missed me, the version of me who used to laugh more, sleep better, trust easier. Melissa went radio silent for a while. She didn't show up for either of her court-ordered visitations that first month. sent some excuse via her lawyer about being emotionally unwell. Which, cool. Sure, but maybe start caring about your mental health before you try burning down your family. Kyle texted me once to say Melissa had reached out, asking to crash at their place temporarily. Kyle shut that down immediately. She's spiraling. Kyle wrote she thought she'd get sympathy. Instead, she's lost pretty much everyone. I didn't respond to that either, just sat with it. Because part of me still wanted to feel bad for her, and that part pissed me off. She'd made her bed, more like set it on fire and jumped in with a margarita. Still, when someone you once loved completely collapses, it's hard not to look back, even if just for a second. Then she tried something stupid. I got an email from my HR department. Hi, Dr. Clark. We received an anonymous report regarding allegations of substance use and misconduct involving you and a minor patient's file. We are required to open a preliminary review. Please schedule a meeting this week. I stared at the screen for a full minute. WTF. I hadn't even had a sip of wine in 6 months, let alone anything remotely close to drug use. And falsifying records, that was laughable. My name was spotless. Except now I had to prove it. I called my lawyer immediately. He sighed. Let me guess, Melissa. Had to be. No one else would benefit from making me look unstable or unethical. We prepped for the HR meeting. I brought clean drug test results, patient logs, nanny contracts, even personal logs from the past 3 months. HR, thankfully, wasn't out to get me. They just had to check the boxes. By the end of the meeting, the rep closed the file and said, Dr. Clark, we're sorry for the inconvenience. Everything checks out. That should have been the end of it. But I was angry, deeply, because now this wasn't just about custody. She had gone for my career, my livelihood. You don't mess with someone's kid, and you damn sure don't mess with their license to feed that kid. So I made one more move. Quiet, surgical. I emailed her lawyer directly, CC'd mine. If your client attempts to smear me or file false allegations again, I will file for termination of all visitation rights and pursue a restraining order. Additionally, I will be submitting an affidavit with digital forensics to verify the source of the complaint. My tech contact has traced the IP. It's hers. Did I actually trace the IP? No. Could I if I wanted to? Also, no. But she didn't know that. 10 minutes later, her lawyer replied, My client is willing to suspend all visitation rights until further notice. We will not be pursuing any claims or actions. Translation. She knew she asterisk it up and didn't want it to go legal. Cool. That was fine by me. Weeks passed. Then one morning, I saw her out of nowhere. I was leaving the grocery store, baby strapped to my chest, pushing a cart with formula, wipes, and way too many frozen chicken tenders. She looked like a ghost, gaunt, pale, hair unwashed, hoodie pulled low over her eyes. She just appeared beside my car. Hey, she said. I blinked. No warning, no buffer. Hi, I muttered, checking my son's seatbelt, like it was a good excuse not to look at her. You look good, she said. Healthy. You don't, I replied. Probably harsh, but I wasn't in the mood for fake pleasantries. She leaned against the car, arms folded. I'm in therapy now, trying to figure some stuff out. It's been rough. I nodded slowly. Yeah, that's called consequences. She laughed once, bitter, still sharp with the words, huh. Only when I'm exhausted, I said. Long pause. I miss him, she added quietly, not just the baby. Us, Our life. I closed the trunk. That life doesn't exist anymore. I know, she said, wiping her eyes, but can I at least write to him like letters, even if he can't read them yet? I stared at her, trying to decide if it was manipulation or actual remorse. Fine, I said, letters only, no gifts, no visits. I'll keep them for when he's old enough to decide if he wants to read them. She nodded. That's fair. Then she walked off. No hug, no goodbye, just faded into the parking lot like smoke. When I got home, I told my mom everything. She didn't say much, just handed me coffee and said, "You did right by him. That's all that matters." And that was it. No drama, no courtrooms, no dramatic final confrontation. Just the quiet, cold truth of what happens when someone plays selfish games and loses. Because the real revenge, it isn't explosive. It's stability. It's safety. It's a child who grows up in a home without yelling, without slammed doors, without the emotional roulette of wondering whether today mom's going to be sweet or savage. It's me being there for bedtime stories, for bath time, for preschool sign-ups and spilled milk, and that one dumb toy he insists on sleeping with every night. It's watching him learn how to trust, because I never let him down. And Melissa? She's not the villain in a movie anymore. She's just a woman who disappeared from her own story. The thing no one tells you about surviving chaos is that peace feels weird at first, like suspicious. The first few weeks after everything settled, I kept waiting for something to explode. A knock on the door, another false report, a desperate voicemail, but nothing came. It was just me, the kid, a quiet house, and the occasional late-night existential crisis over whether chicken nuggets counted as an acceptable dinner 3 nights in a row. Spoiler, they do. I learned a lot during that time. About myself, about being a dad, about how much of my identity I had tied to holding someone else's life together. When that person imploded, I was left standing in the rubble, holding the pieces, not all of hers, mine too. I had to rebuild, not just routines, not just a home, but me. Funny thing is, people notice when you're doing better. Colleagues started treating me differently. Not in a poor guy kind of way, more like respect. Like they'd watched me walk through hell and come out the other side without losing my mind. One of the senior doctors pulled me aside after a staff meeting. "You're doing solid work," she said. "We're putting you on the short list for department lead next quarter." I blinked. "Wait, what?" She smiled. "You've earned it." There was no confetti. No applause. Just a nod, a step forward, and that was enough. At home, my son was thriving. He started walking, kind of, more like drunken staggering between the couch and the coffee table, but I'll take it. He called me Da for the first time. Not Daddy, just Da. 1 syllable. But I swear it hit like a freight train full of fireworks. We built Lego towers, watched Coco Melon, played this weird little game where he'd throw stuffed animals off the couch and laugh like it was peak comedy. Every night before bed, I read him the same book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Every single night. By week 4, I had it memorized. He still wanted me to read it anyway. Routine became our religion, stability, our sanctuary. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was waiting to be blamed for something. But rebuilding also meant facing the mess I'd buried under survival mode. I started therapy. Yeah, me, the guy who used to roll his eyes at self-care posts online. The therapist was this chill guy named Ben. Looked like he played bass in a folk band and had very deep thoughts about herbal tea. First session, I told him, I'm not here to cry about my ex. I just need tools. Practical stuff. He nodded. Cool. We'll build a toolkit, but don't be surprised if the hammer looks like grief. F******** was right. Turns out it wasn't just Melissa I was angry at. It was me. For not seeing it sooner. For excusing red flags. For making myself small so someone else could feel big. For thinking that being the calm one made me better, when really it just made me a doormat with a medical degree. Ben called it trauma bonding. I called it being emotionally mugged with a smile. Same thing, really. A month later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside 3 folded sheets of notebook paper, torn at the edge, crayon scribbles, a drawing of what I guess was supposed to be a house, a sun, and 3 stick figures. The letter was from Melissa. She'd written to our son like we agreed. Except she'd addressed it to my sweet boy and the best dad in the world. The whole letter was soft, reflective, like she was trying to rewrite herself into a softer version of who she'd been. She talked about missing him, missing me, how she knew she couldn't be the parent we both deserved, but hoped he'd understand someday. It was weird. Not manipulative, not dramatic. Just raw and tired. Part of me wanted to tear it up. But instead, I slid it into a drawer in the baby's room. Maybe one day he'll want to read it, maybe not. But it's there. That night, I stared at the ceiling and asked myself a question I hadn't asked in months. Was she changing? And I immediately answered it. Doesn't matter. This story isn't about her anymore. Around that time, Kyle and her husband invited me over for dinner. Yeah, I know, weird, given everything. But Kyle had stuck by me, owned up when the lies started unraveling. She didn't owe me anything, but she still showed up. I figured, what the hell, one normal dinner might not kill me. Turned out it was nice. Her husband grilled. Kyle made pasta salad. Their kid ran around with mine in the backyard like tiny drunk goblins with jelly on their faces. We sat on the porch, sipping beers, watching the sun dip behind the trees. You doing okay? Kyle asked quietly. I nodded. Better than expected. She studied me. You look lighter. Still got the dad gut. She snorted. I meant emotionally. Sure, I said by smiling. That too. We didn't talk about Melissa. Didn't need to. Sometimes healing isn't about dissecting every scar. It's about letting the wound close while you keep moving forward. Things weren't perfect. Not every day. Some mornings, I'd wake up exhausted, with a crying toddler and a pile of laundry that smelled suspiciously like old fruit snacks. Some nights, I'd feel that familiar pang of loneliness when the house got too quiet. But I was learning to live with it, not fight it, not fix it. Just sit with it. Let it pass. And then wake up again the next day and try to be a little better. Then, one Sunday, I saw her again. Not in person, on Instagram. Someone tagged her in a photo at a local AA meeting. She was sitting in the back, hoodie pulled low, hands clasped tight. The caption said, "One day at a time." I stared at it longer than I should have. Closed the app. Didn't show it to anyone. Didn't bring it up in therapy. Just sat with it. Let it be what it was. Proof that maybe, just maybe, she was trying. But I didn't follow, didn't message, didn't reopen the door. Because growth isn't an invitation. It's a process, one she had to walk alone.